Hello, John 17:17, visitors, members. Today we're going to do a little different. I'm going to read the story about Job. A lot of Christians, a lot of believers seem to feel entitled sometimes. Why my family? Why me? Why this? Why that? And I don't understand the entitlement. First of all, on our worst day, on our lifetime of worst days combined, it doesn't even measure up to what happened to Jesus, what he did on our behalf. So sometimes I don't understand the entitlement of thinking that we deserve anything. Everything that we have was given, grace was given, salvation was given, So this would maybe help you out and give you a little bit of a reality check on feeling like you deserve something when we talk about Job. All right. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright. We know we're not perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. He had no dealings with evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men in the east. He was very wealthy, and the fact that he had the she asses meant that there was potential to make money because, they could have litters or whatever they're called. Okay? He was the greatest of all the men in the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. Now, this is in the Old Testament where there were offerings of such. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." So Job did this continually. He didn't know their sin or if they had cursed him in their hearts. So he was doing offerings for them on their behalf. He raised them right. He was an upright man. We're talking about Job, not feeling entitled. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came along with them. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Whence cometh thou?" Whence cometh thou? I mean, he knew, but he asked. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down it." And the Lord said unto Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil?" Now here is God offering Job up. He's perfect, upright, fears God, stays away from evil, but yet he's being offered to Satan. Satan didn't inquire of him. God offered him when he said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" Acknowledge that he's his servant. Okay? No entitlement. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for naught?" In other words, well, here it is in the next verse. "Hast thou not made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance increased in the land." In other words, you've blessed him, you're protecting him. Why would I consider him? But God can do what he wants to do. God offered him up. "But put forth thy hand and now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face." That's what Satan thought. He thought that if God took the hedge away from him, that he would curse God. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So God offered him up and told him, "Look, all that he has is in thy power." We have to stop thinking that God is surprised about anything that happens. God is always in control. Satan himself can't do anything if God doesn't allow him to do it. Remember, God has all power. Anyone needing power has to get it from him. So he's given Satan the authority over everything that Job has. "And there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabaeans fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. They left one witness because they wanted it to be told. And Satan wanted it to be told. While he was yet speaking, he was still speaking to the first messenger. There came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven and hath burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Another catastrophe, another disaster, something else being taken away from him, an upright man who feared the Lord and stayed away from evil. While he was yet speaking to the second one, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, and we think we have it bad. While he was yet speaking, there also came another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. So all of the children are dead now. Then Job rose up, rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and he fell down upon the ground and worshipped. Not complained, not felt entitled, why my children, why my land, why everything I own, but he fell to the ground and worshiped. And he said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord had taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. He didn't charge God foolishly for what happened, even though God offered him to Satan. So we have to understand God has his own reasons for doing things. We have to understand ownership. We are his children. He owns us. He can do what he wants, and he doesn't need our permission. Here, the upright man, loving God, fearing God, teaching his children about God, and yet God allowed Satan to take everything that he had. But what did Job do? He fell down and worshiped. Have a blessed day. You ain't got it that bad.